Hey, Spuddies, Potato Whiskey here, and welcome back to the Babylon Biosphere Rush game. We're kind of actually rushing the Ruhr Valley, but as a consequence of getting the Ruhr Valley, we'll get the Biosphere. Where we left off, we had just activated Locust mode. For those of you who aren't familiar, Locust mode is when you hold off on settling until you have Ancestral Hall, Magnus in a city, a whole bunch of builders, and then the second you get the colonization, Ilcum, and urban planning card plugged in, you just strip the entire land bare of any and all resources in favor of getting as many settlers as possible. Locust mode is an advanced strategy that most people probably won't be able to pull off, but it is exciting, it is fun, and I should probably switch this back to a Palgum, get that in one turn. But this is where we pop off. This is the key to playing a Babylon game, the Locust strategy. Now, in terms of things that we want to unlock, it's very important that we get feudalism, so we are going to want 6 farms, and we're also going to want to prioritize monuments first in every single city that we make. So let's get to work on military tradition, because no, that actually doesn't lead to it. Yeah, we're just basically rushing feudalism, because the extra 2 builder actions is huge for us this game. I understand that by chopping down the entire world, we'll make climate pretty bad, but you know what? That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, okay? I'm willing to let the world drown in melting ice caps if it means that I get a sweet empire. So a whole bunch of things just happened this turn. Most notably, this archer got absolutely dunked on by this spearman. But I can threaten his barb camp, which should make him go home. Now we're going to do our second harvest in here. Boom, there's the deer. Ancestral Hall activate. Immediate settler construction. And because we have the Palgum, a lot of the tiles in here are now pretty neat. We have another governor title. This governor title, we should think about carefully. Upgrading a Mani. I don't think that's like super important unless there was a city-state that we weren't suzerain of that we really wanted the luxuries of. I don't think that's important. What is important, however, is possibly picking up provision or possibly picking up Pingala. And I think I'm going to maybe appoint Pingala, but I'm not going to spend my government title right now because I have nothing to spend it on. But now is settler time. This is where settlers come from. I spam settlers out of Baby Shark. I spam settlers by chopping them out of Animal Untamed, which I accidentally misread as Anima Luntamed. And we want to use some of our builders to give this city actual like productive tiles as well. So not only do we want to quickly chop out settlers, we also want to develop the city a little bit as well. So that's something we have to keep in mind when we're playing this build. It's not just about chopping, it's about developing the city as well. Now there's an unfortunate circumstance here where I'm going to have to wait for this forest to stop burning. It's okay, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Oh my sweet unholy baby Jesus. Why are there so many units here? All right, well, let's kill this guy and pray that you live. We have our second settler. We're going to immediately start sending it this way. We're going to begin building our third settler out of this city, with which we will immediately chop, and boom, now it's 4 turns away, and I should be able to chop this jungle here to get that one. He wants to buy all of my strategics. He'll also give me a great work. I will take that great work. 2 culture right now. That's like a free monument. 100% worth it. It's like one of the greatest trade deals an AI has ever offered me, for me, but not for them. Yoink, I don't care if you die. It's your own fault. But we did clear that barb camp, so we no longer have to deal with it. Barbarians have been beat the F out as it stands right now, which I'm super happy about. There's a little bit of a loyalty problem in here, but if I get this down quick... Oh, you can't settle here because it's on fire. Yeah, that makes sense. But it's not on fire, which means you might be able to settle there soon. Locust mode continues to activate. We chop out a settler, and then when we have 1 builder charge left in the city, we chop out a builder. That's how that works. You chop out settlers until you have no builders left, and then you chop out a builder. And that way you can keep their perpetual locust mode going. You make sure you sell off all of your resources to the AI. You sell off as much as you can in order to pick up extra gold per turn. Like literally everything. You sell everything to the AI that you possibly can. Because gold is your lifeblood in locust mode. Because look at these tiles that I can buy. It may also actually be worth it to consider plugging in land surveyors here over urban planning. And that is kind of appealing now that I'm thinking about it. That is an aspect of the strategy that I've never used before. But I think once I get games and recreation, I will be making that change. All of these tiles are now becoming incredibly fertilized, which I'm happy about. Let's go ahead and renew our friendships with these players so that they do not attack me. I really don't want to be attacked this game. It's a passive tourism economic game. We have 3 more accessible chops in here. Now, it's really important when you're doing this strategy. Tiles that are 3 tiles away from your cap or your city, they're not accessible, okay? They're too expensive to get to. Tiles that are 2 away are fine, right? 85 gold, these are reasonable prices to pay for these tiles. So effectively, this city has another 3 chops in it before we move Magnus. So we want to have another city in position and ready to accept Magnus when that time limit runs out. So that's what we have to be thinking about. Let's go ahead and chop out this settler here. I think I'd like to get these 2 cities up early because it looks like Greece is starting to expand north. So getting these cities up early would be good. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 settlers on the map right now. 4 settlers running around on map. Think about that. I could get the Apadana here. Getting the Apadana might actually be useful because it would allow me to pick up buttresses, which is how I get dams early. If I could get dams really early, I could get really good industrial zones and also prevent flooding on this river. So it's a 22 turn build on the Apadana, or I could continue to build builders in order to send them. Since I won't be, this is a tough choice because there's not a whole lot of ancient era wonders for me to pick up. Apadana, a classical era wonder. It is. The AI really likes it though. I think I'm going to skip Apadana as good as it is. Oh, it's so good. Don't you waste valuable chops for competitive stuff by playing Locust strategy? That's just something you give up. You give up because when you're playing Babylon as a Locust strategy, your goal is to get as many cities as possible and then get so technologically ahead that people can't possibly compete for the wonders that you want because you're just so far ahead. So we pretty much give up every wonder before medieval era, but we can get whatever wonders we want from later on in the game, which isn't ideal. But so if I'm settling a city here and I'm settling a city here, how do I want to settle this coastline? That is something I want to consider. I definitely feel like there might be a city over here, like a buffer city. There's a couple of silver that I could pick up. So maybe like, let's say we settled there, right? I could fit 2 cities on this river. 1, 2, 3. Not on this side though. Let's just throw down a few pins and see what the consequences are of those pins. There is a tool that I have, the city overlap tool, or where's my radial measuring tool? So this is like a little tool that you can get in one of the UI mods that I use that lets you see if cities will overlap. So if I settle a city here and here, pretty much this whole coastline here is available to me. And if I settle here, I could possibly settle near or on the iron and then possibly settle another. So I could probably fit, in all honesty, I could fit 1, 2, 3, 4. I could fit 5 more cities on this coastline, which I may do. I definitely, because I'm playing Babylon, I want to settle on a river. And if I'm going to settle on a river, it would be right there. Similarly, if I'm settling up here to the north, I mean, we'll just kind of tentatively plug these cities in, but I'll want things like seaside resorts and uber late game. These coastal cities will actually be worth quite a bit of tourism. So I can fit another city in here, and I would like access to the turtles and stuff like that, as well as the iron. It's quite valuable. So I think I've planned out my coastal cities. We'll eventually get a city over here. There's one here, one here, one here. The coastal cities are less important to me, in all honesty. And I'm way more interested in my land cities this game, because what I want is, like, for example, I'm claiming this desert because I'll be able to put solar panels in it. And once I have biosphere, I'll be able to get a ton, and I mean a ton of tourism from this desert. So that's huge for me. I don't think it's viable for me to get a Petra in this city. If I were to go for a Petra in this city, I would have to settle on the edge of the desert and then chop a bunch, which I want my chops for settlers and stuff. So that's a no. We got a settler in Baby Shark, and we've decided where we want to settle all of these cities. I could go ahead and pick up a granary, which would get me closer to picking up the industrial zone. And I do want to get the industrial zone because I need 2 copies of workshops in order to get industrialization. And I do want to rush industrialization. So I think picking up the granary will give me the food to get to where I need to be a little bit faster. I also want to pick up builders because I want to build 6 farms this game. I want to build 6 farms because I need to get feudalism. Feudalism requires me to get 6 farms. I'll probably get 3 in my capital, here, here, and here. And then another 3 in Animal Untamed, here, here, and here, or maybe here, here, and here. There'll be 6 farms in total in my empire, which means I'll probably need 2 more builders out of my capital after this granary. Now here's something we need to consider. It's 16 turns for a settler. I don't know if overflow works correctly anymore. I actually don't remember if overflow works the way it's supposed to. I'll settle these 2 fresh new cities. And the great thing about settling these fresh new cities is they start with a builder. Now, isn't that wonderful? So we can actually get these luxuries online, sell them to the AI, get more gold to buy tiles, and be in a wonderful place. So this is part of why you go for the Locust strat, because you could just expand and expand and expand and expand forever. Let's go ahead and harvest the stone into the settler, but we'll finish the builder first. Sorry, Congo, I won't promise to settle far away from you. So now that we have games and recreation, we're going to make an executive kind of weird choice here. We're going to go for urban planning. We're going to take that out as much as I love it. No, I'm going to plug land surveyors in at random times rather than permanently. Oh. So this mod called What Did I Promise lets you know what promises you have made to the AI, and it actually highlights where you'll be breaking your promise. So I've already settled too close to the Congo, and they're very unhappy about that, but I refuse to settle nearby. And if I settle inside this yellow area, they'll get angry at me again. But because I didn't make a promise, they won't get like as angry. It's a really, really cool mod that I'm going to be spending a little bit more time with so I understand it better, and then I'll make a video explaining what it does and how it works. Let's go ahead and pick up marble. Boom. What do they do if you break the promise? Well, I didn't actually give them a promise, but usually you suffer diplomatic penalties. They may attack you. They get grievances. They get, it just isn't good. So we want to rush monument in every single new city. Dermuti has been settled. We're sitting on another thing. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Pingala here, and I'm probably going to use Dermuti as a scientific place because there's like an incredible campus right here. And then we'll eventually get a theater square in here. Although, how much do I care about a campus over a theater square? I think once I get these two builders, I am going to go for the Apadana. So I'm just going to lock that in and pray that I can get it. I don't know if I will, but it would be really, really nice if I could pick up Apadana this game. We're sitting on another envoy. I could put 1 point in Vilnius, which will give me +1 culture in my capital. So I'm going to take that because I do want that culture in my capital. Every point of culture is kind of huge for me right now. What I'm going to do with the free builders that I get from settling cities, I'll build like a little bit of light infrastructure. So things like sheep will get improved, things like marble will get improved, and that'll allow these fresh cities to improve. And you can see here, this also gives you a diplomatic briefing based on what the other player has asked you to do. So it actually gives me a pop-up here telling me that I'd be breaking an agreement. Well, I didn't actually agree to it, but he will be annoyed about it. You can see here, refused to make a promise, promise refused, and continued behavior. So he has some grievances against me, which will upset him. But I do have a declared friend for 27 more turns. So by the time that rolls around, these grievances should go away. And it's just about time. If I improve this wheat, I could save on a farm. The radius on settling is 1, 2, what looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles. If you settle within 8 tiles of an enemy city, they'll get upset, which is a pretty damn big radius. I'm going to just say that right now. We work on monuments, improve the wheat. This will give the city a growth tile, and I do want to get to 2 population in here, although I don't actually need that growth tile. Magnus will be going in the city the second we chop these 2 tiles. The details of the relationship with the AI is not a mod. This is base game stuff here, where you can see how they feel about you. I do have a mod, though, that shows me global relations. Like you can see here that Peter and Gorgo are at war because they have a red line between them, whereas me and Gorgo are unfriendly. It's quite a useful... It's not like the most useful mod in the world, but it's kind of a fun, neat little mod. You would stand there, wouldn't you, Russia? The one place I need. I'm going to delay my chop by a turn. Giga jerk. That's what he is buy both of these tiles so we can be ready to chop next turn. Might be able to squeeze out another settler out of the city, and I would really like it. Let's pop in a pasture here. Boom. Horseback riding unlocked. And importantly, we have a nice 2 food, 3 production tile in the city that'll allow it to grow and produce this monument in a reasonable amount of time. We are getting close towards feudalism. So let's harvest out a settler. Boom. Untamed. Awesome. And we can maybe start settling up to the north now. We've already secured over here to the west. And I mean, it's when did we start chopping? Turn 50? And we've chopped out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cities or something insane. Soon to be 7. I think the Locust build is pretty balanced, guys. I'm pretty happy with the Locust build. Actually, we're going to just quickly chop out one last builder in this city, and then we'll move Magnus next turn. I think Eshuna is next. It has a reasonable number of things like stone and stuff like that. I may even, depending on the price here, 55 gold. If I buy 4 tiles, I get my money back. So quickly swap in land surveyors here and come in and just boop. We want to buy the high value tiles first, like that. And I'll be able to buy a couple more over the next few turns for chopping. All right, harvest out the builder, boosh. And then we can immediately grab Magnus and reassign him over to Eshuna. So Eshuna is going to be the next location for builder chopping, and then we'll use the remaining builder charges in Animal Untamed to actually improve this city and turn it into something useful. I don't think Happy Thanksgiving Eve is going to be a city where I do much Magnus chopping, so we'll probably skip this city as a destination for Magnus. We may use Volume Knob as a location for Magnus. None of these northern cities are going to be used for Locust play. Oh, there's a Great Barrier Reef here. That is disgusting. I didn't even realize that was there. Oh yeah, I knew there was a reason in my memory why I wanted to come over here and claim this city. This is God tier. So we need to wait 5 turns for Magnus. I don't think there's much we can do in those 5 turns, but we will be fine. Builder and Baby Shark. Let's start improving tiles. Right, we're going to put a mine right here because it's a 2 food, 4 production tile, which is fantastic. Ideally, want lots and lots of production in this city. More mines, more mines. Oh, it's spelled knob. Whoops, I forgot the K on knob. Whoops. This is going to be an absolute god tier Ruhr Valley. I mean, just look at the number of mines I can eventually get in this city. And people doubted me. They are like actual doubters. So let's have a look. As their important tech, well, we really just need to get our 2 workshops up now. I may just quickly squeak out this campus and then grab the industrial zone. Oh my god. Oh, maybe I made a mistake. I actually need the growth buildings in here. Never mind. I just need to grow to be able to actually work all these insane tiles that I have. Granary for housing, Palgum for food. God, this city's production is sick. Just wait until it becomes even better. We'll settle the Great Barrier Reef city. Now, this city's in a bit of a dangerous spot. So this one's going to probably immediately build ancient walls and an encampment to defend against Greece. Because I think if Greece is going to attack me, there's 2 places they're going to attack me. Either here or over here. And so that'll justify rushing walls in both of these cities and maybe even getting archers over there. Speaking of archers, I'll get this one over here. I definitely want to defend my Great Barrier Reef city. And I may... we'll see. What if Ruhr gets steel? Literally impossible, okay? I am top science. There's no way anyone is getting to Ruhr Valley ahead of me. I'm top science. I'm currently winning the science game. It may only say 7.1 here, but because I'm playing Babylon, I am winning. Okay, I need you to understand that. Ooh, military tactics is going to have to be hard research. That is unfortunate. Ancient walls will boost engineering. Aqueduct will... Yeah, okay, so I will be chopping out... I'm going to chop on the furs in order to get my ancient walls faster, which will give me access to aqueducts. And then I'll be chopping out an aqueduct in order to get access to military engineering, which will give me access to niter. The armory will also allow me to get gunpowder so that I can get extra production on quarries and also get musketmen to be able to defend myself. So this all kind of feeds into itself very nicely. I will soon have knights because I am working on feudalism in the very near future. So I'm feeling pretty good about the position of the game that I'm in. Let's get ancient walls in here as well. We'll improve the horses, extra copy of horses. Let's go ahead and see if we can sell resources. I have luxuries to sell. She'll take 10 gold per turn for marble, which is an incredible deal for me. Who wants iron and who wants horses? 11 gold for iron and horses. Boom. 4 gold for iron. Perfect. How do people feel about Diplo favor? 6 gold for 30 Diplo is a good deal. My economy is now insane. I can continue to buy tiles and be a locust. I do need farms for feudalism. I need 6 in total. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'll be able to get the farms very easily here. Boom, there's a farm. This is the beauty of the Babylonian river farm with the Palgum. Like, look at this. 3 food, 1 production. You don't see farms like that very often. So it's 80 production for ancient walls. I'm going to go ahead and harvest the wood that is on this furs tile, because yes, it -1 production per turn, but it means I get my ancient walls like ridiculously faster, which is like super useful. I definitely feel like it would be a good idea to pick up the silver here, so I'll buy that tile and improve it soon. I have my second builder in my capital. Let's now get to work on the Apadana. It's a 17 turn build, which is a pretty respectable amount of time for a wonder. We'll put a farm here. Next turn we can get the boost for feudalism. It's all working out very nicely. If I'm looking at Happy Thanksgiving Eve, what do I want to build in this city? Ideally, a Palgum is actually extremely powerful here. I think I'd also like to nab another river tile. I think I may just yoink a couple of river tiles here, because as Babylon, these are like super powerful. God damn, a +6 holy site would be insane here. I think this city combo is probably going to do something like, we'll have an entertainment complex between them. We will have a couple of theater squares, like so. And then maybe another district right here. Maybe a wonder? Coliseum. Oh, we could go Coliseum! We might do it. Do we do it? Is this gross? This is a gross configuration, but it works amazingly well. I could go Mausoleum in Dur Kurigalzu. It'd be an awkward mausoleum is the problem. I don't have a good tile. The best tile to put Mausoleum on is the best tile for the campus in this city. Although I don't really want campuses as Babylon. 1 campus is fine. Buy that barb camp and you get your money back. I don't think I have the money to buy it, unfortunately. It's only 30 gold. We have access to furs now, which I can sell to the AI. Although I may keep it because it's probably preventing some amenity problems in a few of my cities, which is worth 10% of the city's production. Now, I should have the gold. I think we do it. I think we go for it. Like, it's too good. It's too good not to do. We pop down a farm, and we pop down a farm. Perfect. There's feudalism boosted. I think we'll yoink Liang and reassign her to Happy Thanksgiving Eve just for a little while, because I am building a builder in there and the city will continue to grow and produce and be fruitful and multiply. I'm close to a potential golden age here. 9 turns. If I could get 4 Eurekas, maybe a galley. A galley would give me a little bit of era score. Upgrading a unit would give me a little bit of era score. So if I could get just a little bit more gold for maybe some of these strategics, 155 gold off of you, That potentially gives me a purchase upgrade on you. I'd say if I could get a galley, let's do it. 260 gold. I can buy a galley next turn. This settler, I've more or less settled all the land that I want. I just have to snag a few. Wow, Jesus Christ. His anger range has just increased. Oh, it's because he settled Bakavu. Jesus, he buffed his own anger range. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up Pingala Connoisseur in particular. Culture is my main bottleneck this game for getting the neighborhood, which is my part of my win condition. If I can get the neighborhood, my win condition is activated. The problem is that I also want to be using my gold in here for things. Let's get ourselves another builder. I think the golden age is worth spending the stuff on. I mean, it's only a 4-city Colosseum, but it is a cheeky Colosseum, and I'm a big fan of it. Palgamin here is gross, just a super amount of food. Let's go ahead and buy ourselves the galley. Ooh, let's avoid actually finishing shipbuilding. If I avoid finishing shipbuilding and got 2 galleys, the +2 era score from this galley, I'll get another era score when I finish the ancient walls, and I'll get an era score if I can get another galley. So I think we're actually fine. If I can just get a little bit of raw gold, and I can. All right, so if I just get 2 galleys, we're good. We have a golden age secured. And that might give me a way to spend my faith in the early game on maybe extra builders. That would be really, really powerful. All right, I'll drop a farm. So I have 2 farm triangles now, which is fantastic. 2 farm triangles. Very, very useful. We're close to feudalism. What's the add-on you have at the top of the screen with amenities and housing icons? I don't actually remember. I was playing around with different mods, and I think it's like happiness and growth indicators, I think the mod is called, but I don't remember. 44 food, 42 production. This might not actually work in the short term. I don't think this is going to work, actually. I don't think I can go for that. I think I have to just chop out settlers, because I can easily chop out another settler in here with the tiles that are available. So yeah, I'll still make an attempt to go for the Colosseum, but it's going to be a sort of a weak and feeble attempt rather than a robust and strong one. We'll harvest here. I'm really looking for is getting to 7 pop in a reasonable amount of time in here. It looks like things are kind of going okay. We've got a huge amount of food and production in my capital. We're going to get Apadana in 11 turns. If I grabbed Apadana, that would be perfect, because that would unlock dams for me. And then I'm just in an incredible position. All right, boom. There's engineering finished because we boosted it. And then if I buy a second galley, that will actually finish shipbuilding, which means all the research time I invested into it was a waste. But, as Babylon, science is kind of a waste resource anyway. But there you go, right? Golden Age, boom, 48, perfect. So we secured a Golden Age, very happy about that. In Dur Kurigalzu, Monument is the most important thing that I pick up because it expands my borders. I'm just going to yoink that. There's another 3 era score. I guess I didn't need to do that complicated maneuver. All right, then. I'd love if they just wouldn't stand there. That would make me happy. There is another builder coming, so I don't need to harvest at another builder. The city will be very weak for a while. We'll go ahead and auto-explore with both of these guys. I don't feel like micromanaging my galleys. Just let them go off and get into trouble. Unfortunate. Unlucky. 1 turn until growth there. That's perfect. Yeah, Congo's asked me not to settle here. I can't delay, so I'm just going to settle here anyway, because I don't really care about what they asked me to promise. As long as my grievances don't get too high, they won't hate me. I currently have 11 more turns, so I can continue to piss them off a little bit more and not suffer too many bad consequences. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a monument in here. This city's lacking production, first and foremost, which tells me that it needs horses as a tile. Let's go ahead and send an envoy to... Do I want to send it? I think I'm going to send an envoy to Samarkand, because 6 gold per turn is quite a valuable amount. And it'll also give me an envoy with them. We're going to go ahead and finish feudalism, but it's also about time that I started thinking about my theatre squares. Monuments aren't going to carry me much further in terms of culture, and I'll just need a lot of culture. Lovely. 1 turn until the classical era, and we just got stirrups, which gives our pastors +1 food, and we also got feudalism, which gives all of our farms +1 food if they're adjacent to 2 other farm improvements, and we also have access to serfdom, which is arguably one of the most important cards in the entire game. I'm going to go ahead and slap in serfdom and pop out land surveyors and plug in urban planning, because that's 8 production now. It's kind of hard to pass that up, but +2 builder charges on our builders means that the efficiency of improving the tiles in my empire has just gone up dramatically. We're also fighting a little bit of barbarian encampment-y kind of stuff, or not encampment, but you know what I mean. So Locust mode is fully active here. We're going to harvest out that, and we'll get to work on that entertainment complex and see if we can go for the thing here. I think it's time for Magnus to move, and the next destination for Magnus might be Volume Knob. There's quite a bit of actual forest in here for us to harvest. So we'll quickly yoink Magnus and stick him in volume knob. And then we'll stick Pingala in whatever I have as the highest population city. Probably Baby Shark. I'll throw him into here for now. And that's fine by me. So I need to get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 settles. And I can probably get a good few of them. After Apadana is built, I can probably spam settlers at a Baby Shark. Animal Untamed is growing quickly. Where would this build? I'll probably send the builder over to volume knob, to be honest. Lovely. World enters the medieval era. Now we have a golden age. There's a couple of things we could go for here. Pen, brush, and voice would be a huge, and I mean huge, amount of culture for us this game. It'll add up quite well. Monumentality also gives us a way to get extra builders in volume knob. And if I were to, for example, move Liang over somewhere closer as well, that combo would be quite good. I think my builders are a little bit expensive right now for the amount of faith that I make. I could probably only buy like 3 builders this era at most, which doesn't feel the most amazing to me. So for me, Pen, Brush, and Voice feels like the best one. Monumentality isn't bad because of the +2 movement on builders, but also builders and settlers become cheaper to buy with gold too, so that's something to consider. And I have a lot of stuff to sell. My instinct tells me that Monumentality is quite valuable because I'm making so much gold now that I'll be able to get an insane amount of builders and get these last settlements out. And I think I'm going to go, man, Pen, Brush, and Voice is quite good, but I don't have that many districts, so I think Monumentality is the right move here. Because now I can buy builders for 175 faith. So for example here, in Thanksgiving Eve, I can just crack out a cheeky builder. And now, not only that, but builders are also cheaper with gold. This is only 360 gold for a builder, which isn't too bad. It's quite reasonable, considering how much money I'm making. I could yoink suzerainty of Taruga here, which would give me more diplomatic favor to sell to the AI. I think yoinking diplomatic thingy of them is the right move. I'll vote for myself twice. Although then again, I could vote for someone like Movember, guarantee the win, because he'll probably vote for himself. Although he might vote for me because he likes me. Actually, yeah, maybe. I think it's best if range units are stronger too. So hopefully range units and Movember passes. Yeah, they voted for me because they're dummies. I actually don't need to research drama and poetry because I'm going to finish the Apadana in 2 turns, which will unlock it for me. So I think I could just head up towards exploration. Palgum Granary in Happy Thanksgiving Eve. I'll even chop out the Palgum to get it a bit sooner because it's worth production and food. And then we'll start running these builders over to volume knob to get good value out of them. We got the Apadana, which gives us +2 envoys whenever we build a wonder, including Apadana in the city. So that means any sort of wonders we build in our capital city now have extra value. And we finished 2 pretty important technologies. The first one being buttresses and the second one being drama and poetry. So now if I come into my capital, it's actually imperative that I get to work on my industrial zone now. This one needs to get finished because I need to get my workshop up and running so that I can grab industrialization and begin the Ruhr Valley in Animal Untamed. So we'll go Palgum, Monument, and Granary to get these cities growing. Not sure what I want to do with Biomare, so I'm just going to let it kind of sit there nice and tidily, happily. Building 2 harbors is almost certainly not going to happen this game. I probably won't be building any harbors. I may build harbors in the very, very, very late game. I definitely want to start thinking about machinery, own 3 archers. I definitely want to build an aqueduct. That's going to be important. There's a few things that I need to unlock here. I'm very unlikely to get education. I'm about to finish mathematics. So I think I'll just click on education. Military tactics and education. Both of these are very unlikely for me to ever get a boost. So these will have to be hard teched this game. There's an envoy in mysticism. What's our next goal? Let's kind of think about our plan here. We need as much culture as we can get this game. So let's think about where we might actually extract a bit of culture out of this tree. Trade Confederation isn't bad for international trade routes, although it does take up an economic policy slot, which might be better used. But in the mid-game, it might be useful to go for that. I think the big thing would probably be just getting to Merchant Republic. I think I will be going for Merchant Republic because this is about the time in the game where I want to start building my theater squares is once I get Merchant Republic. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Merchant Republic and start making my way there. I'll grab Mysticism into military training, Mercenaries into exploration. Do I want to get alliances early? I could go for civil service and pick up alliances. I think I'll hold off on that. I don't think I need any more governors. I could pick up researcher on Pingala, but most of my science comes from achievements, like quote-unquote achieving things in the game, rather than just passive science. If I'm going to build districts in Dur Kurigalzu, what am I going to build? I do feel like the occasional trade route isn't bad. And it would be quite a memey city to get the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus in, so maybe I'll get started on a harbour. But I want a couple of builder charges over here as well before I really start working on those kind of things. Knowledge of mathematics has advanced considerably, and we also unlocked mysticism as well as mathematics. Perfect. So there was the industrial zone. I'll grab myself 2 archers so I have access to crossbowmen. That'll improve the combat strength of these forward cities. And it'll also give me units that I can garrison on the slightly less vulnerable cities on the border with Congo. Still vulnerable, but not quite as vulnerable. So I'm just going to harvest a builder in this city, like so. Boom. To get that done, let's place our theater squares in the cities where we plan to get them. So we have our theater squares placed down here. We can get them whenever we need them. In terms of this city, these tiles are actually fine and don't need to be upgraded. The city is chooching along as fast and as hard as it can go. There's an argument to be made for another district type. I would like to get my diplomatic quarter relatively soon. Something I'm missing quite a bit, to be honest. As well as trade routes in general are something that I need to start prioritizing a little bit in the near future. Let's start buying tiles in volume knob with a particular emphasis on really good choppable tiles. So we have a bunch of tiles now ready to be chopped, just as the builders arrive to start doing it, and there'll be another builder coming out. So this city will get completely transformed over the next 4 to 5 turns, and I'll crack out a few extra settlers from it as well. Let's go ahead and throw down. Congo has asked me not to settle here for another 4 turns. I think my grievances from settling will go away before our friendship is up, so I think it's totally fine for me to settle here. And then this is a pretty terrible city, but it acts as a loyalty blocker, so he's less likely to try to settle beyond this, and it secures me important late game solar farms. It's a crap city, but it blocks basically, and then this builder is free to go maybe improve another city. There is something to be said of switching this campus over to a holy site in order to take advantage of monumentality. It would probably let me get out 1 more builder this era, but then again, the main advantage that I'm going for monumentality here is so they're cheaper to buy with gold rather than faith. So we'll see. Let's start chopping out the settler. Boom, boom. We'll finish that builder real quick. A lot of stuff is like ready to pop off in the city. So lovely, we got the entertainment complex, and because we're playing Babylon, we get the first building in the entertainment complex for free, and we can get Colosseum in 24 turns, and this is a 4-city Colosseum. It hits 1, 2, 3, 4 cities. Not terrible, not amazing, not bad, but it also gives me 2 really good theater squares in the city, as well as a bunch of extra culture. So I'm very happy with that Colosseum. I think though there is good enough to stop off for now. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.